Hey y'all, hey, thank you for tuning in to another wonderful episode with Lupus Has No Face podcast with your host Savannah Burks and our special guest 2 Real 414. Okay, you guys, we will be discussing the goodbyes, losing a father to lupus. So before we get into all of that, for those that do not know, who is 2 Real 414? Who is he? Where do he come from? And what is it that you do?
You asking me that? Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm asking you that.
Man, 2 Real 414, he a credible messenger. He come from Milwaukee, impoverished neighborhoods, disassembled communities, in and out the system for probably like 25 years, 16 years of my life. You know, just in and out of the prisons. So I call myself a credible messenger because I like that more than a motivational speaker, because I realize in life that the most of the people that listen to you, they want to feel like, in order for me to listen to you, you have to done twice what I'm going through once.
Okay.
And I have been through way more than twice what you going through one time. So, and I just became an influencer, and I started just speaking my mind. Most of my content is not suitable for a lot of people. You know, it's very raunchy, raw, uncut, meet you where you at. But overall, it's a space for it. And obviously I've been reaching a lot of people over these last 18 months. I done gained well over 100,000 followers, had probably over
Congratulations to that. I seen that video.
Probably over 150 million views across all platforms on my videos as of today. So I just I really been reaching the people. And really speaking a podcast is a podcast I got where it's really speaking about issues and really having substance-based conversations, and never focusing on the problem, just focusing on the solution. That's really what it's about.
I love that. Never focusing on the problem.
Yeah, focus on the solution.
Focus on the solution.
Yeah, because we complain a lot, but you know, the real problem is not focusing on no solution. So it's like a therapeutic type of conversation when you sit down with me. Yeah.
Well, I thank you for taking out the time out your busy schedule to come on this platform to tell your story for the first time. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, especially beating you here. Being on time before you. Yeah, we ain't gonna let that slide, y'all. I was here a whole 30 minutes. You see my little rest face? It's because I've been here almost an hour before she was scheduled.
That's how you do me?
Got to be real with the audience.
It's not being real. First of all, in my defense,
late, y'all.
I was late. I was late, but it was due to traffic. I was literally on time, but it was due to traffic. Okay. But thank you so much for being patient. Since you done threw me out there to the pack of wolves. That don't make no sense.
Transparency is the best. Let's go.
So, 2 Real 414. What is your government name?
My government name is Javad Petty.
Okay.
No relation to Tom or Richard.
I was gonna ask you that next.
No relation. I get that out the way. I'm so used to that. Yeah.
Okay, well let's dive into it, right? So before I dive into these questions, you lost your father to lupus, correct?
That was one of the health conditions he had. Yeah.
And how did you feel about that?
Well, you know, in the present time, when I was at the time, I didn't have a feeling because I really didn't. Like I told you off camera, I kind of like escaped the reality of what the true reality was why he passed. And I think now when I look back at it in hindsight, how I feel about it is basically how I'm responding to my own health, meaning taking things more serious, getting more tests done, focusing, like I just said, I just did a 15-day juice, like really focus on my body, because I'm about 6 years away from the age that he died at, which was 44. So how I feel about something really is more of a response to how I look at myself. Like, I could be in that situation. So I'm trying to do the prevention before the intervention.
I love that, and that was one of my questions that I had for you, but thank you for answering that. So due to what you were seeing and what you was exposed to, you taking that into making that a lifestyle so you can be healthy, correct?
Yeah, definitely. It's a struggle, though, but it's like one of the things I think about. I think about that all the time. Like, my daddy had high blood pressure, diabetes, and lupus. So he had a lot going on. So at my age, it's important to, like, when I'm crossing over into them 40s in the next couple of years, to really hone in now on like simple things, like, you know what I'm saying, my health is key. So I think I feel about it, how I'm responding to it. By now, I must feel as if it can be me. So now I'm taking precautionary measures as I go now, before I enter my 40s, because my daddy didn't take the precautionary measures to be here with us today.
And you know what, that's dope, because a lot of people are exposed to that or experience exactly what you experienced, and they still don't take that route. They still don't take that route. They don't take a lesson out of it. They tend to be more rebellious to it. Mm-hmm. So that's dope that you're taking that route. Like,
like, if we gonna just be all 100%, the lack of education and the sensitized world we live in, we really don't think things can happen to us. We truly believe like it's not going to be me, but in this case, this is a bloodline thing. If this running my father's blood, the apple don't fall too far from the tree, so it is a chance that I could experience some of these same things. So why not try to just take more of a precautionary measure, just to instill that, even if, just say for the sake of this conversation, it's inedible, I'm gonna develop these things. Why not get up on it, the early start? Just like people who get checked for prostate cancer, they get checked for this, and they find early detections, and to save their life.
Absolutely. But most guys, if you want to be transparent, most guys don't sit around and have those type of discussions, those uncomfortable conversations that should be had in the community. So because people don't talk about it, then there's lack of awareness within their circle. Unless something hit home, and then they want to start educating themselves. And most times that they don't. Most times they do, most times they don't. It is just all depends on how they were affected.
So question for you, is this PG? How we talking on here?
No cussing.
Oh, no cussing. Okay, it's very hard for me to do that, but I'm going to try. So the reason I say that, because most men feel as if as long as they get an erection, they're healthy. Most men that grew up in the ghettos and the hoods feel like, oh, my girl go get a pap smear, she good, I ain't got nothing. That's how most men feel. We don't think about our bodies, our health, and we don't really care, quote unquote, even after certain things happen. You know, we got a guy in our city, I love you to death, Sip. Country boy Sip, that's my guy, I love him. But we had a conversation on the phone literally a week before he had his 6 strokes. And he was just telling me how good the food was. And I literally just had my health scare. And he was just telling me, man, it's so good. And I'm like, bro, you can't really eat that. Literally a week after we got off the phone, he had 6 strokes. And thank God he's still here. But it's like, we don't take anything serious, because in our mind, we got selfish wants, selfish needs.
Absolutely.
The food, and I tell people all the time, that's what I've been focusing on. Like, I used to be big on motivation. I'm trying to motivate. I got to be motivated. Motivated is the last thing you want to have. You want to have discipline. Discipline is like what you put in your mouth, what you eat, what you think, what you process. It's just like people that's like me. I'm addicted to peace. Some people are addicted to chaos. Some people are addicted to food.
That is true.
Yeah. No, for real.
No, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. People love toxic.
Yeah, they love toxic.
They love toxic, so I can receive that.
Somebody said they can't hear him. Tell him to pull the mic closer. Can y'all hear me now? Oh, my bad. This whole time we've been reading the comments. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Can y'all hear me a little better now? Oh, my God.
Put a thumbs up if you guys can
You
hear.
can hear a little better.
You can hear
I
better.
apologize.
Okay.
I didn't even know they was not listening.
So to just piggyback off of what you said, that is the lack of knowledge that people have, because I cannot have something and you can have it.
Yeah.
So the fact of going off the myth that if my girl or my man don't have something, I don't have it, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all, and that's not preventing anything, like you said, that's coming from the bloodline for you taking precautions of your health.
You know,
And people don't have those conversations. They just don't have those. It's the norm, but it's not the norm in most communities.
So let me tell you where I come in at. That's why the representation of who I am and how I represent, because I'm obviously viewed as a hood nigga, whatever, a thug, whatever, a street dude. So I'm trying to change the ideology of how people think, because I got dudes that walk up to me every day that come from my background and say, bro, it's because of you, man, I went to the gym, or bro, it's because of you that I decided to do this. Like, people were so interested in my juice journey, I had to document it. I just had so many people inboxing me, and, bro, what you using, what you doing, and it's just like, and I know these dudes are not like no honest working citizens, but they consider it. You know what I'm saying? So what it does is, for black men that grew up in the ghetto, that's come up in the streets, they have to have somebody that they have a connectivity with that really is the credible messenger, come from what they come from.
Absolutely.
Get out there, take that leap, and do things that's courageous that most people won't do. Step outside of their norm. And like I say, it's a 50-50 thing. You got some people that's against it, like, man, who do you think he is? And other people like, man, that's courageous, man. Like, because you got to realize, the same thing people love you for is the same thing people hate you for.
Absolutely. I felt that.
No, for real.
No, I felt that. That is the truth. So when I was speaking to you, right, and you told me you were angry that your father passed, and I was like, well, how can you be angry? Did you not think about what he was going through while he was going through it? Which arose this question is, how has your anger affected your relationships with your friends, family, or even your father memories?
Well, I think honestly, if we being 100% transparency, I think my anger just came from the lack of accountability as a man, because as a man, you should be in your children's life no matter what the circumstances, what the condition is. And after you bring children into the world, you no longer first. That's my first thought.
That's true.
Once children come into the world, you are no longer first no more. And as a man, I had to realize that. So I was an angry boy because I lost a father that I didn't get a chance to know or grow with. And when you walk away from me by disowning your responsibility, like taking your pills on time, not drinking the stuff you're supposed to drink, not eating the stuff you're supposed to drink. Like, you got to realize, God gave him one warning. He had his first stroke at 40. 4 years later, he had his second stroke. All these underlying health conditions that he didn't take serious, because that means the anger came from me, because I'm like, this man was selfish. This man didn't think about him. He didn't really think about us. How can that affect us? Because now I make decisions based upon my children. I don't think twice about it no more. I think about my kids. I'll be like, it's called sacrifice.
Absolutely.
So that's where the anger came from.
So do you think like he was just purposely like, I'm not going to take my medication, I'm not going to do this, or the lack of education, the lack of awareness?
As men, we are rebellious against anything that's right for us. Why you think men come from the streets and hood, get good women and drag them through the mud, but then get women and it ain't nothing, and they treat them like they queens? Like, you would take a rat, a tramp, and treat her like a queen.
I see that.
You get with a real woman and you rebel against everything because she remind you of your mother, or she care too much.
Oh my God.
So it's like
structure.
Black men have a sickness in their head that if somebody care about them too much, we're ever going to try to manipulate you and use you, versus understanding like, this is the most important person in my life right now, because we're living in a time where people really don't care about the person. They care about the intangible things that comes with the person. They don't care about you.
Absolutely.
Like, you got a woman that'll call and check on you and see how your day been. That irritates you. Why is she? But this other girl ain't called you in 2 days, and y'all was just with each other last night, and you did whatever, showed her the greatest time ever. She ain't even thought about you to text you. this the one you worried about. So I think black men are rebellious against what's good for them, and they stubborn enough to do what they want to do, and then sometimes the results be deadly. Or be
You dropping some. Listen, that was a question I always had. Like, why do men get these particular girls, treat them like that, and then get these girls and treat them better?
So,
and you just answered my question from a man. Came from a man's mouth.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
You know, most dudes, man, really. I can only speak on things because I remember it was a time in my life I was one of these individuals, not to that capacity, but in certain little specs. Because what I learned is that everybody tell us what we need to learn, and I understand that concept, but I really disagree with that. When you been a certain way your whole life, everything is about what you need to unlearn. It's called deprogram and reprogram. So some of these ideologies and things we carry from our childhood and our upbringing that we think is quote unquote cool is really no longer cool. So it's like now we got to understand, like, okay, I got to unlearn that. That ain't the way to be. Because right now I just feel like, so my mindset is this. I truly believe that my wife is somewhere in the world working on herself, getting herself together. So while she's doing that, I should be over here working on myself, getting myself together. Because whenever happen, it is when you're not ready, people come in your life that's ready. So why not you just focus on getting ready? Because getting ready for you is getting ready for them. Because a lot of people just want to pretend and put the show on and quote unquote act like they got it all together just to get the person. A lot of people are good at getting things, but they're not good at maintaining things.
You taking a whole twist, boy. This conversation is so good. I want to actually change the topic for today, but no, you are totally right about that. I'm definitely gonna have to have you come on and talk about like a relationship type of topic, because this is boy. I'm telling you, it's deep, but I feel it, and I'm just like, oh,
yes.
Okay, what coping strategies have you found helpful in dealing with your anger?
I think one of the things, I mean, it's not one in particular thing, but it's a multitude of things. Just sometimes walking away, breathing, understanding like what's important in the moments. Like walking away always been one of the first quick things I could do if I'm mad at something or mad at someone. I just kind of leave that space now. You know what I mean? Just to get away. Like I'm out of here, because the thing about it is once the emotion go down, the anger actually goes away. So I used to have this thing. It's crazy. I used to do this when I was in prison, and I used to be mad at the chick I was dealing with. I used to write this dear B letter. I just start off like Dear B, and I write it, cuss her out, say everything I want to say, and then I had a cellie. He had life. He said, "Hey, before you send that out, sit on it and see if you feel the same way in the morning." I'm like, man, I don't hear that. Sent it out. So it takes 2-3 days to get to her. So by the second day, me and her done made up on the phone, and I'm telling her like, dang, a letter coming, just like disregarded. As soon as the letter comes, we literally back into it. So I had to realize, so the next time I did that,
I sat on it
and woke up in the morning and didn't feel the same. It was just an emotion.
You a piece of work, but that is true. I like you. You a piece of work. You make it up with somebody on the phone, and it's like, what is this? And as a woman, we're going to read it.
We
gonna read it like, oh, okay, that's how you feel.
Yeah, I said that's how I felt. So dealing with anger is really being self-aware of like the emotion part, right? And then
people are so defensive. People are so defensive because they do not know how to have an uncomfortable conversation. And having uncomfortable conversations is growth. You don't want people around you. I tell people all the time, you don't want people around you that's always for you. Yes, you want somebody that's going to be able to check you, take you to the back in a private area and be like, you were wrong. You know what I'm saying? Tell you about yourself. And it's a lot of people that's not going to tell you about yourself. They rather ride with the toxic stuff, like how you said, rather than tell you what you did was wrong or how you better could have handled that situation. What message would you like to convey to others who may feel similar anger after losing a loved one to a chance to a visible illness like lupus?
Man, what I could tell you is take time to grieve. You know, if you don't take time to grieve, like really in your personal space, your long time. So it's something I've been trying lately that's been working for me. So every morning when I wake up, I don't do it every morning because I ain't finna pretend like I'm perfect. But most mornings when I wake up and I remember, I put my feet down at the edge of my bed and I just try to, before I grab my phone, before I do anything, I just try to sit there in silence for like 5-10 minutes and try to block out all the little voices that be in my head, breathe, and just capture that peace. Because sometimes, like I say, a lot of people are addicted to chaos. So it's like when you're grieving with something, make sure you are around like-minded spirits that can comfort you.
Absolutely.
Because we be trying to grieve with people who just so desensitized, and they be like, man, don't trip on that, man. We good, bro, man. But yeah, that's cool. But I had learned a long time ago, you can't really tell nobody how to grieve.
You can't.
And no matter of fact, you can't put a time limit on how long you should
You can't.
grieve. Because some people might deal with things a little longer than you would like them to. But that's just the way they're designed. So all you could do is kind of give encouragement and just always be there. So when you dealing with grief, the best advice I can give somebody is just take baby steps out for you to be able to have your long time and just reflect and accept. Reflect and accept. Because I had to reflect on things and accept it. Reflect on the relationships and times I had with my dad and just accept it. Accept it. Okay, this was the chapter. This is how it was meant to be written. You shouldn't question God, whatever. But in the moments, it was hard. So for me to sit up and act like it was easy, it was one of the hardest challenges in my life because I was angry because I'm like, man.
How long did you carry that anger on for?
Probably carried that anger on for maybe 10 years.
10 long years?
Yeah, 10 years. Because anytime I seen somebody with their father, it angered me. When I seen kids with their father, when I seen people with their father, when I dated girls who still had their father, when I had partners that still hung out with their fathers, when I seen stuff on my timeline, man hanging with his father, the man in his 20s, 19-year-olds still kicking with their dad, they going to the basketball game, all that stuff is just like, I've been robbed of that. So what I had to do is reverse that anger and channel it in the perfect way. Like, okay, everything he didn't do with me, I'm going to do with mine. So now I reverse it because that's the only solution now. Give my children what I didn't get. Outside intangibles, material things and stuff like that. It's more about like the time. So now it's like, okay, can't wait. So now I be at my son basketball games. When I was playing basketball, my daddy never showed up. So now every Saturday I'm at my son's game. So I'm like, you know what? I'm breaking the generational curse that he started, and I'm making it better because I'm just present. That's the first generation curse being. So it's like everything I didn't get for him, I try to instill in mine and give them because that's what I would want. So it's kind of like everything and I do that a lot. Things that I didn't get, I try to give to others because it kind of like fulfilled me in a way.
And that's dope. The way you doing it is dope. I say the presence because most people don't, and they blame it on, well, I didn't have this when I was growing up and I didn't have that. It's always a choice. We always have a choice, right? So most people, like when they grew up poor, they didn't never have, they attend to buy their kids everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that's healthy. But you're more present. You're giving love. You're being more active. You're being more in tune. So I think that's a very healthy thing that most people don't. They don't learn. Even if they did come up from having a father, they still don't nowadays give their kids that attention that they need. They don't have a balance in their life with their children.
Yeah, for sure.
You good?
Yeah, something went in my eyes like probably 10 minutes ago.
So now that you have let go of that anger, is it a weight lifted off your shoulders?
Yeah, because you got to think about it. At the time when it was going on, it wasn't identified as anger. It was identified as hurt, disappointment, frustration. I didn't know that was anger. So I was really unaware of that. Some of the actions I was making was triggered back from that. Because sometimes people ain't always well aware of where these traumas come from.
They not.
They just know it's so many. They can't pinpoint it. So when you pinpoint things back to things, because it's certain things that truly used to make me sad, like seeing. And I used to be like, damn. And that emotion used to put me in a funk for a minute. Like, I don't care how long it was, an hour, a couple minutes. And like, that's why I used to kind of like shut down and take social media breaks where I make a whole bunch of content. I still do it today where I schedule out content for a whole 30 days and I shut my social media down, take the app off my phone and just really, really like listen to audio books. I read. I do a lot of things that don't meet the eye, you know, because I know I appear as this rah dude, but
you're a very well-mannered person. You're very knowledgeable. You speak very well. So the look is sad that people judge people, but you're totally the opposite person.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it because it throws people off. Because when people actually meet me and have a conversation with me, they be thrown off a little bit, and I like that because they gotta understand that the people I'm trying to reach are lost, and they have a connectivity with how I talk and how I am.
When I had went all the way back, and I think I went back until like 2023 when I made a first comment or something. I was just going all the way back, and I was just like, dang. But when I watched your first video, I was like, he is like raw in your face, like just raw, like an elephant, just like raw. But I was like, I listened to the message, and I was like, okay, let me just continue to go down. And it's like, the way you present your messages is receivable to your kind, or to actually to anybody, because I don't come from the streets, and I'm like, he's speaking good. It was almost like entertainment, but good stuff because it was factual things as well. So it's like, okay, let me follow him. Yeah. But you really do have good content that you speak on. Yeah. But like the look is it is a throw off. Yeah. Like he's speaking like this. Oh, okay. Well, let me. So that's how it was for me.
Yeah, but no, I truly appreciate it though, because I think I take it all with a grain of salt, because when people actually meet me, one thing you gonna always know is I'm passionate as hell about my beliefs, but I'm also smart enough to understand that I can hear you out, because sometimes when people and I'm a spiritual person too, so I get moved by spirits. So if your spirit is good, you're gonna get that from me when you meet me. But if you ain't got no good spirit, you ain't gonna get nothing from me. Like, I'm moved by spiritual content. So yeah,
I could definitely understand that.
I appreciate you though. This is dope.
You're welcome. Just a couple more. So the fact that your father died from that, have you educated on yourself? Like, what is lupus? How can you maintain it? What people go through?
I honestly haven't, because at the end of the day, I really wasn't ready to. What I would say, revisit that, because if I revisit something that I didn't want to look at, but I didn't want to understand, but I need to understand, I was kind of in fear of what it'll trigger if I find out these things.
Are you feeling any triggers now that we're talking about it?
I'm a little worried that you're gonna try to tell me something about it that I don't want to hear right now. I mean, that's just the truth. Yeah, I'm a little worried.
You worried?
Nervous, yeah, because I don't think I'm ready. I truly don't think I'm ready to be educated on what it means to have lupus, in a sense of knowing that if this man, because I know it got to be some type of crazy signs that'll let you know. Like,
so let me tell you, they don't know the cause, right? It can be too much of anything, too much of a certain type of food, the environment, the bloodline, and you're actually born with the cells. So what happens is, if you're born with it, you're not diagnosed with it. It's something that happens in the community or sometime in your life where it gets full blown, where you become diagnosed with lupus. So by the time most people, or I can speak for myself, I was diagnosed with it, and it took me out in the first place. So they couldn't figure out what was wrong. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I was very fatigued, brain fogs, kept going to the doctor. They kept saying it was all different type of stuff. And by the time they figured out what it was, I was already passed out in a coma. So when I came to, that's when I started learning about what I have. So there are things, but a lot of the things and the symptoms is a lot of the symptoms with cancer. And it's a lot of symptoms with other things because it's a different type of lupus. So you can't just say like, oh, he probably knew, or he probably knew something was wrong with him. But sometimes you go in remission. Like right now, I'm in remission. I don't have any symptoms, but I still am on daily medication to prevent any flare-ups, right? So when people see me, they like, oh, I didn't know that you have lupus. You don't look like it. So that's where Lupus Has No Face came from. Like, what do lupus look like? Because you can definitely live a healthy life with lupus. You just got to take the proper measurements. It's a lifestyle. You got to eat right. You got to rest. You got to drink your water. Like, you got to exercise. Those little things matters. So,
Okay.
if you ever come across people that you are friends with that may have it, it don't look like anything, but them people that haven't accepted it probably go MIA. Like, where that person? I haven't seen them. That's because they haven't accepted it. They don't know how to deal with it, and they don't know how to communicate that to others to help them through it. So you'll be ready once you accept it. Yeah. Once you accept it, then that's when you can start educating yourself, because that's the first step, accepting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and I get it too, because there's a lot of other things that people like deal with that they truly don't want to accept. Like, I personally have a I think I have like a fear of understanding, right? So the fear is the fear of understanding is something that I need to understand, but I don't want to understand. And come back to having that discipline I was telling you about. Like, I need to understand this, but I don't want to understand it. But I don't ever want to be put in a situation where I'm forced to understand it.
You don't want to be forced to understand something. You want to kind of like do it on your own.
Yeah.
So you want to make it to an importance.
I mean, these are just true emotions. Like, if I was to sit here and just pretend, no, I'm telling you true emotions, how I truly feel. I personally feel like a lot of black men don't get checked up. A lot of black men don't take care of their health. A lot of black men don't care. Like, when I had that, when I got dehydrated when I was in the gym and I had to go to the doctor and get potassium chloride pumped back into me, I literally, at my big old age, literally, no matter how many times I may have heard it, but it didn't register with me, I never knew that alcohol, that liquor dehydrates you.
Yes, it does.
No.
That's why you see a lot of people drinking with water. It's a balance out. It balances you out.
So now I just like stuff like that. I'm just like, damn, really? And I don't even drink like that. I'm not even a drinker. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've probably been drunk twice in my life, and it was both on my birthdays. Like, I'm not a drinker.
Oh my God.
I would have the same bottle in my house for 2-3 months. It would not get drunk fully. It'd be people that come over, they'll take a shot before they'll drink the bottle before I drink it. Cause I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. I don't find nothing exciting from it. Like, drinking makes me sleepy and tired. It doesn't do nothing for my body. Like, people be drunk and turned up, I be damn near jealous. Like, how's y'all over here like, hey, I'm like, what the hell? Like, how? I ain't nowhere near that. I'm ready to fall asleep.
You funny. Well, we definitely going to pause it on that. I thank you so much for coming. We definitely gonna have to do a part 2 whenever you can fit us in your busy schedule.
You gonna be on time, right?
I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna be on time.
Beat your guest here.
I'm gonna beat my guest here.
Yeah, because I ain't going for that.
Oh my God! Anybody that's watching it, please tell him that I'm not normally late.
Listen,
okay?
I would literally walk out next time if you had me here 30 minutes before you get here.
Oh my God! Please drop your tags. Tell them where they can follow you at.
Number 2Real414 across everything. You type in 2Real Instagram 414. I'm really on Instagram more than I'm on anything. So go on Instagram, type in 2Real414. The number 2Real414.
And you got a birthday coming up, right?
February 27th at Mr. B's. I'm bringing BG from Cash Money to Mr. B's Privilege Lounge. I think a lot of people will love it. Come out there, have a good time. Hey, he said she usually on sign. Oh, she said Anita. Thank you.
See, I'm using that. Thank you so much.
No, Anita, she told me to get here at 6:30.
No, and so we gonna drop those tags in there so y'all can follow him. No, Anita, keep up on what's going on for his birthday. Make sure you guys show up. I'm definitely gonna be in the building with him. Stop. Please tune in every Wednesday at 6:30 with Lupus Has No Face podcast. Until then,
peace. Believe that.